Hey guys, Adrian Gardner here. Welcome to my channel. This is the first video installment of powerlifting progression, focusing on my squat. I want to give you some background before we start, just because the numbers will seem a little higher if you don't know my sports background. I did football, wrestling, and rugby in high school, which included weight training, conditioning, sport-specific training, all that sorts of stuff. I had a preference for the weightlifting and especially the powerlifting focus, bodybuilding focus, power building style of training that we did because it was supplementary to all of our sport-specific training, but it also really helped me get bigger and stronger. I bought this garage gym setup piece by piece starting in spring of 2017. I worked from there to add a couple plates, a bar, a bench, a belt, that sort of thing. That made my workouts a little bit more diverse. The majority of my workouts, though, actually happened in the campus rec center at Colorado State University where I went. That was just because it was more efficient. I was on campus all the time and more people there, so it was a lot more fun, more social. Kicking it off to my first 1 rep max attempt. This one is 405 pounds. I completed this one at April 27th, 2018. It should be noted my body weight was around 205 back then. It's dropped down quite a bit. That's something I'm a little bit more proud of, but the weight moves a little smooth. There's a little bit struggle out of the hole, but I move it fairly well overall. This attempt here was on May 22nd, 2018. This one was 420 pounds, so a PR at the time. I moved it up about 15 pounds heavier, not bad. My body weight was still around 200, 205, so not too heavy, but still not where I wanted it to be yet. On August 25th, I was able to break that record again. I got up to a 425 pound squat. This was coming in at a new low weight of 195 pounds, so truly 2 times body weight squat here. Depth was decent, but I struggled about halfway up. Starting here, this was September 5th, but also just moving on through the winter. I was working much more on a heavy volume block than I was on intensity, so 365 for reps rather than for singles. I know for a fact that this is probably one of the worst forms that I have had in my squat. Shortly after this is when I did a total breakdown of it and just tried to overhaul it. My back collapses, my butt shoots up, my knees shoot in, my head drops. It's a whole mess. But, you know, we live, we learn, we get better. The weight moved well, but I just needed to get better at my squat mechanics. The CSU Rec Center is a pretty typical training environment for me. I trained there for probably 2 years or so, so it felt pretty comfortable. This was an RPE of around 8.5 or 9. Moving from here forward, the quality of my training gets a lot better. That has something to do with the fact that I became a commercial personal trainer at a gym, at a 24-hour fitness, so I got a lot more exposure to just smarter people than me, to other trainers, to just a lot of really good positive influence on why and how and the way in which I lift, so that was really, really awesome. Right here I'm focusing on pauses, putting time under tension in a place where you're at weakest. So for me, where I'm weakest in the squat is right out of the hole, right out of the bottom, so pauses, keeping a straight back, nice and firm, lightweight, nothing too intense. This came after a heavy deadlift session, so I took it pretty easy. I just really wanted to get the motor skill down. We jump back in here in June 2019. I had to take some time away, not from lifting, but from filming and making it my priority just because I was finishing up my last year at university at CSU, so I finished that up and I got back into powerlifting pretty seriously. So 365 for 1 in June 2019. This was August 20th, 2019, and we're getting back into some 365 heavy sets. So we're at a home gym today. We're upping the volume. We're going up from singles into doubles, and we're even going to be adding some weight on this one. So we got a lot heavier. We're at my buddy Evan's home gym, meaning pretty ideal conditions for lifting. Home gyms have a special place of comfortability for me just because I feel like I can let loose and relax a lot more, but also there's so much less pressure with so many fewer eyes and so much less flash of being in a big gym setting. So it's a lot calmer, it's a lot more reflective and just helps me lift a little bit heavier, I think. So we go up from that last clip about 20 pounds. That puts 385 pounds on the bar for a double. The RPE here is probably 9.5. It's really tough. This was a PR for me just in terms of strength and weight. I haven't had this much on the bar in quite some time, so it was really, really awesome to actually feel that weight move. I feel like the depth was good, but I know my hips are shooting up and my back is rounding. And my worst mistake to this day is I still have a lot of knee cave or knee valgus in my left side that shoots in a lot. But if you're going to walk away from a PR saying what went wrong, then you're not appreciating it, so I'm just going to take it at the double. We finally made it to September 2nd in this video. That puts me about 19 days out from my first ever powerlifting competition. You might notice I've got a nice black belt on. That's the Rogue 13mm lever belt. On my feet are just some maroon Adidas Powerlifter squat shoes, so got a little bit better gear here. When I'm squatting here, I get up to a 385-pound squat for a triple. That's going to be a PR about a month out from the last one, but at the same time 3 weeks before competition, so I'm still steadily getting stronger, which I love. My favorite part, I suppose, is body weight is down to about 185, so I'm making huge body weight gains. September 21st, 2019, finally we're getting into my first powerlifting competition at Elevate Barbell. This is my third attempt on squat, or 185 kilos, that's 407 pounds. The RPE felt a little bit low. I probably could have gone a little bit heavier, but I was still getting a little bit of butterflies. This was my first competition, and I still had 2 more lifts to go. December 2018. This is a hack squat machine that we have at 24 Hour Fitness. They're pretty common. The reason I like these is just because I can get a ton of squat volume in there without really taxing my lower back, which tends to be personally my limiting factor on my squat. Other than that, though, it takes a lot of tension off my knees, so I can get a lot of quad and glute volume in without really hurting my body or tearing it down all that much. Some things I want to point out in this second video are just on form. The further forward you put your feet, the more posterior chain focus, so the more hamstring glute you're going to use, the more your feet are under you, so more of an upright posture, the more you're going to emphasize your quads. I like to drop my hands at my sides. That prevents me from pushing upwards into the handles or downwards onto my quads to assist in the movement. I also like to emphasize the Valsalva maneuver for breathing and bracing. Game face, people. Alrighty, settle in. This is December 25th. Merry Christmas, 2019. Going for another PR attempt. This is 420 pounds. It's 3 plates of 35, a 10, a 5, and a 2.5. I'm working out at a home gym today. As you can obviously tell, this isn't my setup. It's a buddy of mine's. We like to work out together. We like to get nice and fit. You know how we do. I go pretty smoothly on the way down, but I twist back up, which is okay, but I feel like I could be a little bit more stable. That being said, I haven't touched 420 pounds in months to a year, so this was a really good PR for me. Whew. Getting back after it with a slight deload. I wanted to move some heavy weights, but I didn't want to go anywhere near 1 rep max, so I'm just trying to hit triples here. This is on January 9th, so it's still going to be quite a ways out from any competition. Just getting some maintenance volume in, trying to see if I can't tinker with my form, get a little bit smoother, get a little bit stronger, get a little bit more work in. My reps are good, but I know I've got a hip shift that I'm trying to fix, and there's an imbalance somewhere between my glutes and my lower back. That's my major issue. There's a little bit of knee valgus, but that improves, and this is the last set of 4 sets of 3, so it is a little bit shaky on the last one, but I move it pretty well. Like you saw before, I do like to do pause squats once in a while. This was quite a bit heavier than the last set, though. So 335 instead of 225 moves a little bit tougher. These pauses were on a 5x5 as well, so a ton more volume than a 3x10, just in terms of longer pauses, heavier weight, all that sorts of stuff, okay? I did this just in terms of I felt slow out of the hole and I couldn't keep my back straight, so I'm really just trying to nail in that bottom position and not let my hips move. This came in February of 2020, so not too long ago, about a month and a half out from my second competition at Elevate. I'm really just trying to get stronger. This set comes at you from February 16th, 2020. That's going to be about 5 weeks out from my Elevate competition. I'm going for heavy fours, and I'm going to be decreasing that down into about heavy doubles week to week. So maybe fours, then threes, then doubles as I work up in weight as I try to peak. This set seemed pretty easy. I did 3 sets this day, so 3x4. I try to contain squatting to 1 to 2 times a week just because of how taxing it is on my body. But my progressions are going really, really well, and when they do that, I tend to want to squat more often. But that's just how things go. On March 12th, 2020, that's 9 days before my next powerlifting meet at Elevate Barbell, I was able to hit another PR. This time it was in the form of a 405-pound squat for sets of 3. That's 3 plates, a 35 and a 10. On the ground you can see we had more plates, but they were on another bar, so I couldn't use them. Weight moved well, I felt strong. It was a really good lift day. Adrian here. Thank you so much for checking in with my first video on my squat progression. There's going to be another one coming in the playlist that's going to be for bench and deadlift, okay? So all 3 big power lifts, all 3 out of the way in the first week. They should be done before March 22nd because that's my second competition at Elevate Barbell. Now, a lot of the coronavirus stuff is going around right now, so as far as I know, the competition is still going on, and I still have a lot of time stuck in my room, so we're going to get working on those, and we're going to put those out here soon. I'd love if you could leave me a rating and review below. That helps my channel, that helps me grow. It also helps me see what you liked about the video. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you next time.